Welcome back, everyone, to more of our custom career mode and career experience. And in our last video, we got new seasons started for 2 of our 3 series. And today, it's all about the DIRT Midgets. We're going to get their season started and work through as much of it as we can. But first, let's take a brief look back at what happened in our previous video. Going over to Series 1, we didn't have a whole lot of luck in our cup program. Not that we expected to, but still, when nearly all of your finishes are 30th or worse, it's just hard to smile a whole lot. And on top of that, right now we are just not making a whole lot of money per race, save for the special events and so forth. So yeah, the Cup Series, we really need to upgrade that marketing level so that we can make more money. We need to be paid as much as we possibly can by our sponsors. I mean, we're doing okay. I mean, 123,000 is nothing to sneeze at, but there is a lot more room to grow that. And we're going to need that money for future expansions. But then if we hop back over, in this case, to the simulated seasons and go to our super lates, we had 2 drivers finish in the top 5 in points. That is awesome. That's what we're looking for. Didn't get the finishes that we were looking for from Nassie or Quapple. Although Quapple, not terrible. He was at sort of the back edge. 15th or 16th is what I was hoping for at the worst. And we finished 15th. So I can't complain too much, but certainly was hoping for a little bit better for Carson. So very happy there, aside from the damage. Is it too much to ask for that we just not have as much damage? Is that being too greedy? Maybe it is, but I'm still going to do it. Because the damage costs us dearly in the remaining portion of the season. The back half of the season for the super lates was brutal on damage. So we're going to hope for greener pastures and better finishes today as we work our way through as much of a 50 race season as we can. And then, of course, we're hoping for great finishes overall so we can get as much of that championship money as possible. So let's go ahead and get things started. Moving back over to the simulated seasons, we'll go ahead and collapse the super lates and expand the DIRT Midgets. All right, so now we've got our 3 teams. Everything is loaded in. Let's run some races. Everybody cross your fingers and hope for the best. All right, first race finish, okay, not amazing, but a 4th place finish. So we get our first top 5 of the season with Taylor. Not bad, we will take it. All right, Kaylee Bryson decides to jump in with a top 5 of her own. Okay, once again, I'm happy so far. Then a 2nd place for Taylor. Taylor making a strong case. She's trying to put her name out there and says, hey, I want to move up. The career ladder is for me. All right, not so much here in race 4. Nobody really jumped out there. However, you might notice something. Jade so far is sitting here 3rd in series points. Taylor's 4th. However, we haven't really said Jade's name yet because she hasn't gotten to top 5. She's just been very consistent. That's the name of the game for Jade so far. And I am certainly okay with that. All right, now we're getting some good finishes. A couple of top 5s here for Kaylee as well as, I believe that's Taylor. Yep. So let's run our way through the first 10 races. Okay, not terrible. Jade has fallen off a little bit. Meanwhile, Taylor, spectacular. Sitting here 2nd in points, even though we have yet to capture our first team win of the season. Race 7, oh, Taylor getting it done. A 3rd place finish moves her to the top of the heap in points. Yes, please. And doing that without a win, that is spectacular. That means you've been consistent. And of course, by taking a look at these finishes, you can see exactly that. A lot of top 5s on that board right now. All right, moving on. We have, okay, hey, again, no complaints. We get another top 5 here. Unfortunately, only one of our drivers in the top 5 for race number 8, but that's okay. All right, Taylor hanging in there. Look at Kaylee. She wants some attention too. I mean, Taylor remains at the top of the board. Again, no team wins yet. But Kaylee jumps up into third in points, seventh for Jade. She's fallen off a little bit here recently. I mean, she's had some good finishes, but she's also thrown in some 17s and 18s, which really doesn't help your points all that much. So let's hope she can turn it around and join these other two, because things are going very well. All right, final race of the first 10, and, well, not so good for Taylor. You can see that the last few races, not as kind to her as the start, so she's dropped back to 5th. Now, in the points, Kaylee has jumped into 4th, but Jade is now 6th. So 4, 5, and 6 in points, not bad for a team. There's not a whole lot to complain about, but the biggest thing I notice, I don't see any damage in here. We were close, but I don't see any damage. I'm looking for races that are 30th, 35th, and worse, and I don't see any of that. So I'm going to call that a very good start. Now, at this point, we need to do what I have forgotten to do up until now. We need to do some dynamic adjustments. All right, so let's go into the drivers first. And I'm going to create actually a couple of these, because I know I've skipped at least once, maybe twice, of doing this. And that's going to happen periodically. I get so involved and so excited about these race finishes and making the money and upgrades and all of that, that, let's just be honest, I forget. I get so caught up in all of this that I forget. So let's go ahead and do a couple on this as well. All right, scroll back to the top, just so that I can visually make sure that these are going in there, even though I know they should be. Okay, so that is taken care of, but now that brings us back over to the series relative performance, our setup screen. And the reason is because I really want to make sure we're still tier 1. Okay, and we are. So let's take a quick look. We're about 54 on performance. Okay, the highest is 56, so we're right there on that. Oh, here's where we're getting crushed. 93 on manufacturer performance, and I'm seeing 104. Ouch. Our manufacturer is not doing us any justice right now. We're losing 11 points of performance on that. And then our drivers, 48, 53. That's what's saving us. The highest I see is 54. But yeah, we're right there at the top on this. 57 for Carson. Yeah. Okay, so we're fine there. But our manufacturer is what's destroying us. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drop in a little bit of extra performance to try to build a buffer. Remember, in each tier there are 8 teams. So we are 8th on our lowest team here. So I want to try to build in just a little bit of extra. So let's get a little bit more performance. So we'll come back over to 7. All right, let's scroll up a little bit here and then move over. This shouldn't be terribly expensive. So I'm going to go ahead and do a purchase of 10 more. And we'll do a purchase. So again, that's only 37 grand. So on the DIRT Midgets, we're perfectly fine to do that. And we'll come back over. And we're now at 55. And then if we take a glance over, we didn't change our tier, but now you notice we're 3rd, 4th, and 5th in there. So that gives us a little bit of leeway, and I'll take that. All right, we're actually not going to copy paste just yet. I'm going to grab all of these at one time. So we're going to do a total of 20 races here. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our next finishes. So remember, we're 4th, 5th, and 6th right now. So hard to be upset about that. So I'm going to actually scroll over a little bit and do the highlight again. Over through race 20. So we're looking at the highlighted area and below. All right, what do we get? Okay, a top 5. Oof, that was painful. for Team 2, which is, okay, that's Jade. I had forgotten for a second. Like, who is Team 2? Okay, so not great for her. You know, not awful. Oh, and there it is. On race 12 of the season, we get our first victory. Taylor is having a spectacular season. Second overall in points, and brings us our first team victory of the year. Yes, please. Excellent. And oof. Okay, that's not good. That we don't want 34th. But we're not going to pay attention to that. We're not going to focus on that because Jade picks up win number 2 and catapults her into the top 5 in points. We're now 3, 4, and 6 in points. I'm happy. I'm happy. Not everything is perfect, but of course it never is going to be. So after race 15, no top 5s in the last couple of races. We lose a little bit on points here. We lose a little bit. Kaylee drops to 8th, which is as low as I would like to see any of our drivers. So 3, 6, and 8. We've got a couple of race wins, so it's hard to be too upset about any of this. But at the same time, we just want to do so well. All right, race 16 is better. All right, we got 1 top 5, but overall, definitely a little bit better there. And here, no top 5s. Anytime we have a race where none of our 3 drivers are in the top 5, I know it just cannot be good. There we go. There we go. Our second race win of the season for Jade. Well done by her. So that brings us up to, after 18 races, 3, 5, and 7. But I want more. Taylor has shown such promise this season. I want her to get at least 1 more race win. Is that too much to ask in the final 2 races? 1 more race win, and I think that will really help bring her up. Okay, a 6th place finish, not the end of the world. That's not bad. So 5, 6, and 7 are 3 finishes there, so hard to be too mad about that. And then finally, race 20. Remember, race 20 is not the end of the season. It's just the end of what we're going to be working with for right now. So in that particular race, we had another horrible finish. That is not what we want. That is not it at all. Okay, so after 20 races, damage, we had 2 races with damage, and they were both Kaylee. So Kaylee Bryson damaged both times. Now remember, we're not looking at this bottom one because we don't have 4 teams. We've only got 3. So this bottom one is of no interest to us. But overall, again, it's hard to be terribly upset with what's going on. I mean, we're 3, 5, and 8 in the season standings. So we've got all 3 of our teams in the top 10 in points. We've got 3 team wins. But take a look up at the top. Season standing number 1, well, Buddy Kofoid. Big shocker there that Buddy Kofoid would be up at the top of the standings. He's got a couple of wins, but look at his top 5s and top 10s. Half of his race finishes are in the top 5. Yeah, that'll do it. And 16 of the 20 races, he was in the top 10. That's huge consistency right there. That is awesome. Then right below him, second in the standings, Justin Grant. 4 race wins. Yep, that will do it. When you're winning 20% of the races, that really helps out on the points. And then the same thing for him. Top 10s, top 5s. Amazing. Same thing with T-Mez. Amazing consistency. I mean, that is hard to complain about that. So what we're lacking on, well, we're just lacking in top 5s and top 10s. We're a few behind these guys. So if you look at the raw points, 576, 596. And then, of course, Buddy Kofoid right now is trying to run away with this thing at 623. So there is a lot going on right there. But that's just 20 races in. Okay, so let's generate some more race finishes. Why? Because, well, this is extremely exciting. Now, once we get very much further past race 27, I'll have to come back and we will actually take a look and just follow the point standings, top 5s, and so forth, and we'll look at those race finishes individually, but we won't be able to look at them all at the same time. All right, so race 21. All right, okay, that's not terrible. So again, I'm going to do some highlighting here. So 10, 6, and 8. Hey, hard to be mad about that. So 4th, okay, another top 5. We really need at least one of our drivers in the top 5 for every race, preferably 2. I mean, hey, if we're going to wish, we might as well wish for all 3, but oof, that's not nearly as good there. There we go. Race 24 is the one. All 3 drivers in the top 5. We finished 3, 4, and 5. We will take that. All 3 in the top 5 and one of them on the podium. Yes, that works. That absolutely works. Okay, oof. Race 26. Come on now. Come on. That is just no good. All right, our final race 27, at least the final one we can see right now. We got 1 top 5 and 1 damage. Not what we're looking for. All right, so now what I'm going to do is 27 races. I'm going to go ahead and run the remainder of these races, and then we will scroll over, take a look at them, and just take a glance. But in the meantime, I'm going to be looking down here for how the points are changing, wins, and all of that before we get a chance to see an in-depth look at these. But so far, not too bad. We're 3, 5, and 7 in the points. Kaylee finally gets her first win of the season. That's a total of 4 for our team. Unfortunately, as I glance up here at the top, I mean, Buddy Kofoid and Justin Grant are just crushing it on wins. Okay, again, still not too bad. Kaylee is not quite where I want her to be in the season standing. She is not having the season that I would like. Nope, we got another win there. We pick up another win for Taylor. All right, we're dropping a little bit in points for Jade. She's not quite as consistent as we would like, but again, I mean, they're both in the top 5 between Taylor and Jade, so it's really hard to be upset about any of this. All right, picking up some wins. I noticed Jade as I peek down with another win. All right, I'm going to pick up the pace here a little bit so that we can scroll over and actually look through these. But you notice, if you're watching the win column down here, that we're picking up some wins along the way. The overall points might not be going quite as well as I would like. Especially, I mean, this has been a rough second half of the season here. We're getting some race wins, but we're also dropping overall in the points, which tells me consistency is not quite there. Okay, and one more race. Okay, not bad. So we're going to finish up the season 4, 5, and 7. Okay, that's not bad at all. 2 drivers in the top 5 in points for our team. That'll work. Also, look at your wins. 9 wins total, 3 apiece. That is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that is very good. Unfortunately, we just didn't have anything for some of these top guys. I mean, they were putting on a show, particularly with their top 5s. You notice 23, 26, 29. I mean, Kaylee can compete, or she's at least close on top 5s with these guys, but the other 2 just nowhere near on the top 5s. Overall, on the top 10s, though, not too bad if we compare these out. So, who's your champion? T-Mez. Thomas Meseral picks up with only 2 race wins. He wins the champion. When you can beat out in points, when you can beat out a guy with 8 race wins to your 2, you know you had a consistency. And you take a look at these numbers, and that certainly bears that out. All right, so we'll finish up today by dropping in our race finishes. I'll take care of any and all of the damage. I'll take care of that off camera, and we'll talk about that when we come back together next time. But for right now, let's go ahead and grab some race finishes. So we're going to get a total of 3 teams worth, but look at all of this over here. All right, so it really just does not want to, oh yeah, it definitely does not like this. I don't know why, but you can see that my cursor, it's just not happy. All right, so let's just, look at that. My system is going nuts right now. So we'll ignore that for right now. It finally got to where we wanted it. And then, of course, the clicks continue. So that is something I will have to take a look at. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. We finally got there. Wow, that is nuts. I don't know what's going on in the background for my PC, but it is definitely driving it nuts. So what we want to do here is take a look at some of these finishes. I mean, look at this. Win, 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 win. Check that out. We had a stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races where we won 5 of the 6 as a team. Yeah, that works. I like to see that. So that's going to take care of a lot. But again, as we finish up today, I'll deal with the copy paste, since apparently something that my PC did not like was going on. I'll take care of that off camera as well. And when we come back next time, we'll talk about the end of the season. How much money did we get? And what are our plans for the next season? So that's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more custom career mode and career experience.